Hello everybody, welcome to the second video of today. I think this is probably going to be the final video. I've got lots of content still planned. Best buys when it comes to the Mojo Buck store, the MTN store, which to be honest, like it's early days to do a video like that because not everybody's going to have all the bucks in order to get stuff, and I would say it's probably best to wait towards the end of the month so you can then prioritize your spend. I've already done a video to that degree, but I'll probably do a second video to that kind of concept, but there's a few more videos I still want to make about this monthly content, but for the most part it actually seems very straightforward. But I did want to do a video that's the Cavalier cheat sheet. Also, I've planned to change the Cavalier cheat sheet ongoing, so I will be in future months kind of adapting it and changing it as to feedback based on the comments. And also one big thing that I wanted to do with this is add like boss interactions. If you've seen my video earlier today, you'll know I did like a this is the best champions I've found based on a few community bits as well as my own kind of ideas of how to take on the particular content. It's been very straightforward, which is good. Big thumbs up. But there is still problems with the game at large, and that's just with the inputs system at the moment. It's not great. It's not great. It's not that great if you're an Android, and I've had so many issues today that I feel like I need to have a camera pointed down as I'm kind of like tapping on the screen and showcasing that I'm literally clicking on for a block and nothing is happening, and that's a very worrying sign. But that's the usual thing that's been since June, July time of last year. But in any case, I digress. Need to kind of get on with grinding the content. I've had a pretty good time doing it. I've been repeating back a few paths, especially when it comes to the last two of dealing with Caps and Wilson, which has so many fun interactions. But yeah, the Cavalier cheat sheet. Links are in the description to the Google Drive links. Go and check that out. And yeah, just quickly going over some of the various different types of interactions in a larger state. So yeah, first we'll start off 1.1. That's Mystic Consumption. All the usual champions that deal with like the nullification, stagger are the best kind of options for this, and you can see like I've not done a huge update to this, especially because there's not been a huge addition to the Mystic line to note. And a lot of you, as you know, one thing I want to adapt and kind of improve into this is utilization of synergies. But I do feel a lot of the times when it comes to Cavalier difficulty, it either helps to have like 3 path clearers and 2 boss clearers, but I may kind of like change that to have like a synergy option in future, so that's something that needs to be adapted, but it's changing every month and it's so difficult to adapt. And as well, boss counters, I've got that there as well for that. I actually thought about maybe using Penny Parker as an option to take down and do like amazing power control, because how you take on Hood is going to be very important, whether or not you go for the power control option, which we mentioned earlier, or you go through like a different option, because there's more of an emphasis on the power control nature to it. And every time that you every time he does a special attack, he then gets that unblockable passive, so it kind of means that you have to like change the way you play with it, which is not always great in any case, but it's a very doable fight, and if you got the right champion, you're able to smash through it. In 1.2, with the science side of things, I've been normally using Mr. Fantastic, but because I've got Immortal Abomination, that's just great. I love Immortal Abomination. He's one of my favorite new champions I've added in, and so I use him a lot in my AQ grind on my AQ paths on my particular variant that I'm on at the moment. I've got to do that, so yeah, that's good. But yeah, there's so many science champions you can use. I mean, the classic was capped with a cosmic and a tech. It just means that you get those kind of like debuffs on, and at the same time, you know, helps out for the team if you've got like another science there as well. So just like, it's really nice. More debuffs the better, and as well dealing with a lot of kind of like things, but you know, playing into things like exhaustion, fatigue means that you could stretch to Luke Cage, and as well the usual favorite, which is, gosh, slip me then, Human Torch. Jesus Christ, man. I spent all my time dealing with champions. And yeah, the takedown of Miles can either be done by different ways. Either you play into the evade side of things, and the champion will evade a lot more if you knock him down, so it's either a case you deal with that. Personally, for me, Falcon is the go-to champion for that one, but you can look to Professor X, Nick Fury, Mole Man, Venom, because it's a Spider-Verse champion, and Stealth Suit Spidey, which also with his ability, his web foam, deals with evade natures. He cannot be evaded. And Apocalypse if you choose to do that. Then moving very swiftly onto Mutant, and with Mutant I would say that it's up to you how you play this. Like, you don't have to do, because a lot of the time it's biohazard, and biohazard means that if you're hitting into the champion you're going to get bleed, but there is a node in place that kind of like restricts or kind of reduces down the extent of bleed. And some of the champions on the path could be hashtag metal, so you may want to use Magneto. But double immunity champions are an option. I'm not going to say like they are the definite option, because I just use them because I like them. Iceman, Omega Red now that I've got, I can actually use. But Colossus, Apocalypse are normally my go-to champions for this, and as well Magneto. Those three right there, dealing with situations that can be very, very frustrating. Rhino is the end boss for that, and I still like figuring out the best way to take this champion down, especially because, you know, this content hasn't even been out 24 hours. But Cap Infinity War dealing with the extent of the Unstoppable, which in my feeling is that's the most problematic thing. But if you want to play into spiked armor, then you can reflect stuff back with Namor. Guillotine 2099 helps out with that. Corvus Glaive Crossbones. It's kind of like reminds me of the time of like going against AQ and kind of best champions to use. But also, yeah, slow buff champions or buff stagger or nullify champions can be relatively good options for this. The next section is 2.2. Now in 2.2, that is where you've got your lovely cosmics. As I said, you can check out the link in the description, and that will take you to the cheat sheet. But yeah, you've got all these lovely cosmics that are buff generators, because we've got Cosmic Grit. And Cosmic Grit is nice. I actually quite like it. I think I use more Venom Odin. I actually like those two combinations, but I do rotate Angela, as I use Angela a bit more nowadays, and especially when it comes to situations of dealing with auto block and extensive debuffs, then it can be very, very helpful. And I think I just remembered something that I may have made a mistake on. I think I've come back to haunt me. I think it's actually dealing with this Crossbones fight, and maybe I wasn't kind of thinking something. Whatever. Anyway, back to this. Yeah, those champions are good options. King Groot. Oh man, I've got to use King. I think King Groot I have to do for a separate Cavalier video, because I think it's kind of a really cheese and fun option to take it down. I've got a little bit of footage already recorded for it, but I do like myself King Groot, and especially as I use him a lot more. I use my rank 3 6-star. Going up against Crossbones, I've got to go back over this to kind of figure out the best pattern to take it down. My feeling is the no buff champions are the way to go. Like Spider-Man 2099 and Red Guardian, I'm feeling those two actually would be pretty solid options to take down this, especially because the counter to this isn't great. So you got Adaptive, which is cycles between building physical resistance. The champion itself shrugs off debuffs. Not great, especially if you want to lay something down. And as well, I am finding a bit of an issue with kind of I felt like I wasn't getting my passive stun half the time. When I was using White Magneto, it wasn't working for some reason, but whatever. In any case, yeah, so like if you've got Rising Sun on you, it just means that you will be basically getting damage. I mean, you'll be getting buffs and you'll be getting degeneration. So having champions that deal with that degeneration are going to be a better option. Could be a case you play aggressive and use the likes of Spider-Ham or anything that deals with kind of reducing down the degeneration damage. But I would say for this, like options wise, it's up to you. You can either, once you're doing a heavy attack, you counter with a heavy attack. That probably may be the best way to deal with this. Doom to take off those. Doom could be an option, and Namor if you want to play aggressive. Those are the ones I find so far, and I'll probably have to do a bit more work to find anything better. But if you have another suggestion, put it in the comment section. It might help out somebody else. But next up is skill, and with skill there comes a champion build. So it says skilled attackers gain permanent passive fury, increasing attack rating 35%. Each time damaging debuff is purified. So look to champions that purify stuff, not purify, but look to champions to do high debuff damage. So for me, Blackbird of Deadly Origin always my go-to champ. Nick Fury, Gwenpool. I would use Gwenpool. Squirrel Girl's good, and the reason is that he's quick to get those bleeds. A lot of champions at skill, it's all about quickly getting those kind of debuffs in order to get them shrugged off. And we've got Black Panther Classic. That's another good one as well. I quite like that one. And Blade as well. Mole Man. Yeah, like loads of champions. Loads of champions to take this down. And with the end boss being that Misty Knight. I'm still finding like a few more kind of options to take this down. But so far, Falcon, Archangel, White Magneto, any True Strike champion or True Accuracy champion, because it deals with the evade, because I kind of felt that was the issue. SP1 rotations are normally the best to deal with this, because you don't want that SP2 with a load of freeze-based damage on you. It ain't nice. And you've got to deal with that power. So if you want to, because I think the champion does get power gain, it's up to you whether or not you want to use Doom. But I would say dealing with that option of evade's kind of the better option, just in my opinion. Ebony Moore is a complete cheese for this, and Nick Fury, yeah, is just a bit of a... And if you want to push... Okay, now this leads us for the final one, which is tech. And I got to be honest on this one. I love my Warlock, I love my Hulkbuster, but there are a few other options as well. I think as well, any tech champion that gets an armor up buff, now you don't have to do it that way, right? There are other options to do that. It's just that it's just a little bit better on the rotation and the nature of doing it. So with Power Technician, which we've got right here, it is that if under effective armor buff, while power drain 15% of the opponent's blah 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 blah. Increase stat rating. Yeah. So I mean, look, any armor buff based champion that is a tech champion will do. So yeah, go and smash it. You know I think how the duck gets armor up as well. So go and use that one. So many. And then final boss, which is Sam Wilson. God, bloody Eldridge. Sam Wilson here, and for this, yep, champions wise, there's quite a few. It's up to you how you do this, okay? So there are other options. I can list off like a multitude of champions. You either deal with the auto block, you either deal with the armor, or you deal with the so you either have armor, which you kind of swipe back with precision, with dexterity, and you get yourself a true strike. You either have a true strike, or you have a true accuracy to deal with that auto block, which is the most annoying thing. You can look to armor break the champion a lot more frequently, but I kind of feel like it's a bit better to kind of suppress that auto block, because it means you keep the pace and the aggression within the fight. That's why the likes of Moleman, Warlock, mainly Warlock, Odin, and Angela. Angela in particular, because she's got something in her base ability that deals with situations of auto block. If she's got a load of buffs, which I look to use with Odin, so those two champions work very nice hand in hand together. But as well, if you want to deal with getting armor up, and that can be done with Warlock and Civil Warrior. Any champion that's got an armor up buff can deal with it quite nicely, or armor break in order to deal with suppression of it coming in. But I've got to be honest, it's probably easier just to use stagger champions like Doctor Doom, and any stagger champions, Doctor Doom with Mr. Fantastic could be cool, but at the end of the day, just suppress as best you can with Mystic Champions or any champion that armor. Thumbs up and you're fine, and just keep the champion to an SP1. Easy peasy. In any case, that has been it. A very quick dissection and go over on the Cavalier cheat sheet, which is available in the link in the description. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for coming by, watching some content, and maybe there's another video today. I don't know. I'm looking to play some Warzone later on with the lads, but yeah, a bit of a chill time, and then Friday back into grinding more MCOC. You should see a lot of content, and then I'm going to stop with some stuff about the monthly things early next week before moving on to more permanent stuff like Act 7.3 and other content. But yeah, cheers everybody, thanks for dropping on by, and I'll see you in the next one. Doodles!